Hi everybody, it's the Prospect Hut, the amazing, spectacular, terrific, the great one, the People's Champion. Your host, the Hut. Welcome back to Prospect Hut, and hopefully you like this video. And hit that subscribe button. I'm going to talk about in this video a trade proposal I talked about on the Baseball Hut a few days ago. I want to do this again, this channel, because there's a couple prospects involved in this proposed insane trade for Tarik Skubal of the Detroit Tigers. As you know, he's the best pitcher in the American League. Won 2 Cy Young Awards 2 years in a row in 2024 and 2025. And now he is up for really a massive payday after the season. Now, it'll be interesting to see how things play out with the labor strife. But here we have, from SI.com, this wonderful proposal that the Bleacher Report put out. He reads the article. Tigers send Tarik Skubal to Mets for massive haul and hypothetical trade proposal. The New York Mets make sense to trade partner for the Detroit Tigers for Tarik Skubal. Now, next offseason, he's going to be a free agent. Even if you trade for him, unless you're right on the precipice of winning, you're not going to make a move for him. I mean, he is, if the Tigers, and I would mention the American League Central has not done any work. Other than the White Sox, most of the other teams in the division have done nothing to improve their teams, nothing. So that's going to be a scramble, with the White Sox maybe improving as much as 75 wins. That's a massive improvement for the White Sox. They won like 20-something games a few years ago, 30 games, whatever it was. But pitchers and catchers at the return report right around the corner for the Detroit Tigers. What the future will hold for their star pitcher has yet to be determined. Coming off a second straight loss in the American League Divisional Series, the Tigers were undoubtedly a team that wanted to improve this winter, but they didn't do anything. However, the franchise hasn't done much to give people a reason to believe that they will be taking a massive step forward. Nobody in that division has done that. While they do have a really strong farm system, when these top prospects will be coming up to make an impact has yet to be seen. Furthermore, for the last 2 years, Detroit has had the best pitcher in the league, and that has been a major reason for his success. However, he is entering the final year of his deal, and the Tigers have an impossible decision to make regarding his future. Have you been reading this stuff as an aside? Have you been seeing this disclaimer some of these articles have been posting? That this is speculation, blah, blah, blah. And the italics at the end of these articles? It's something new I've noticed over the last few days. Anyway. Zachary D. Reimer of the Bleacher Report recently proposed a hypothetical deal in which the Tigers traded their star pitcher Tarik Skubal to the New York Mets in exchange for Jonah Tong, Carson Bench, and Clay Holmes. Now we got 2 Mets prospects here, and Tarik Skubal, and Jonah Tong and Carson Bench. For a pitcher like this, you're going to want Nolan McLean, and the Mets aren't going to move him. Well, any potential deal for the star left-hander would have to be significant. This is a pretty impressive one. Of the 3, Holmes is the most proven in the league. Has been both a starter and a relief pitcher. A star relief pitcher, by the way, 2-time All-Star. While New York did attempt to move him into the rotation, the results were mixed with some struggles, especially... What are they talking about? He was great. He was terrific. While New York did attempt to move him he's in the rotation. He spent the entire year in the rotation last year. So I didn't read this article last time, but this is a person that did not cover the club. He was in the Mets rotation all year. He didn't make one appearance out of the bullpen, if I recall right. He pitched really well. He had some struggles, but it was more because he ran out of gas. But he pitched really good. A move back to the bullpen might get the most out of him, but he would provide flexibility in the role. He's not going. If he's with the Mets, he's going to be in the rotation because the Mets were very happy with him. He won 12 games. I don't know if you know that. He won 12 games. Furthermore, Tong and Bench would be the real prize for Detroit. Tong got a chance to prove himself at the end of last year and pitched well in a small sample size. Again, the writers know what the hell he's talking about. He appears to be in the Mets rotation as of now for 2026 and be able to do the same for the Tigers. This is all bullshit. He's not starting the year. Unless he pitches great in spring training, he's not making this team. While Tong has some experience in the majors, Bench is seen as the top prize in this deal. The young outfielder has yet to make his debut in the big leagues, but that appears to be changing this year. Okay, this writer doesn't know anything about the New York Mets. Because he got it wrong on Clay Holmes. Clay Holmes pitched well for us here in New York in 2025. And Jonah Tong pitched 4 games. He was not that impressive. He walked a lot of batters, and he's very raw and needs to grow up and mature. Grow up a little bit as a person, from what I could tell, and he needs to mature as a pitcher. He does not know how to manage the game yet. But that game can run out of control very quickly for a young pitcher, and he doesn't have that yet. Okay, so the writer doesn't know anything. He doesn't know what the hell he's talking about. Now, I would mention about Clay Holmes. He has a lot of value, both for the Mets and for any team. First, as a starter, he pitched really well last year, and he could go back in the bullpen if he doesn't pitch as well, or if they want to cut back on his, his innings and stuff, and his pitches per outing, they could do that, or they could trade him. He's got a lot of value. Mets could get a ton for Clay Holmes. They didn't trade him because they really like him a lot. But boy, he's got a lot of value. He was very impressive. I really liked what I saw. And Carson Bench, who was a 2-way player in college, and the Mets told him, you want to give that up. Be an outfielder. And he was an outfielder all last year, and really the first part of his professional career in 2024. But he really took off last year, and the Mets are very high on him. Dave Stearns is extremely high on him. And the Mets expect him to be with the Mets on opening day. But we'll see. I mean, that's a lot to ask. Especially since he only had a few at-bats, a few games in AAA. He was dealing with an injury. So it'll be interesting to see how he develops in spring training. He's going to get a lot of time with all the players going to the... Interesting, it seems like Francisco Lindor is not going to the WBC according to insurance reasons. But Jonah Tong and Carson Bench are 2 prospects. I don't think they're going anywhere because they would have gone, if they would have gotten traded, they probably would have gotten traded perhaps somebody like Freddie Peralta. But like I said, Tarik Skubal is a different animal. And I'm surprised you wouldn't ask for Nolan McLean in this kind of situation. Nolan McLean, Carson Bench, and Clay Holmes. Because as you know, McLean could be an ace. So hopefully you like this video. And of course, I mentioned this again if you didn't know. I have another channel called The Baseball Hut 3. I'm 12 subscribers away currently from getting it partially monetized. Or I can start some memberships and taking some super thanks and super chats if I do a live stream on there. I really could use some more subscribers. I know some people that have subscribed to this channel have done that already, but if you haven't already, please go over there. I talk about the media there. I have a lot of fun there. I don't take it seriously. A lot of people get very mad. They think that the sports media is sacrosanct when they really aren't. But interestingly enough, I need 12 more subscribers to get that partially monetized and one step closer to getting fully monetized. So thank you for watching this video. And of course, please subscribe to Prospect Hut, and I'll see you later.